Hello everybody. Today's class on problems on single phase control rectifiers. We also discussed about some more problems, some problems on the single phase control rectifiers or converters. Now we will discuss about this single phase full wave control rectifier using RL load. In previous, we discussed about that up to resistive load only, R load only. Single phase half wave controlled R load is completed and RL load is completed. And next, we discussed also that single phase full wave control rectifiers, that is half half wave, sorry, or resistive load. And now we discuss about this RL load using discontinuous current mode. We are having that two different modes of operations of the single phase full wave control rectifier. That is, first one is continuous current mode of operation and also the discontinuous current mode of operation. If you go for RL load, we are going towards the RL load, not a general load. With a freewheeling diode also we are placing. Here, what about the discontinuous current mode of operation and also the continuous current mode of operation? For those derivation expressions, we will discuss about the problems, some more problems. Yeah. In previous, you observed this one. Single phase controlled full wave rectifier. Single phase controlled full wave rectifier. Here, actually, full wave rectifier, you know that the full wave output voltage is to be having that, getting that across the load is to be a steady state value. Why? Because two half cycles is giving towards as input, and these two half cycles has getting the as the output value. Okay, but in previous for a single phase half wave control rectifier, we are getting only that only half wave. That is either it is a positive or a negative. We are getting only half wave. So what about the rated output voltage for half wave rectifier? It's to be a unstable voltage we are getting, not a stable value. Okay, that is if you observe in this single phase controlled full wave rectifier here. For this single phase control rectifier, full wave rectifier, two half cycles has been applied by using of a four thyristors. Even it is called as a bridge also. Okay, we're replacing that T1, T2 and also T up to T4 thyristors or the switches. Here, for each half cycle, for a positive half cycle, T1 and T2 will be conduct. For a negative half cycle, T3 and T4 will be conduct. Okay, here this is the M2 connection, center tapped, okay, center tap transformer connection of a single phase control rectifier. This is a midpoint is also called as a midpoint rectifier. Okay, here by using of here, this is also we are getting the same or rated output voltage on these both circuits. But what is the difference is to be number of switching device circuits, number of switching devices has increased. T1 to T4, number of switching devices has been increased here, but here not increased. Nothing but we are used only two thyristors, two switches. Okay, so this is a bridge rectifier. Thyristor T1 and T2 must be fired simultaneously during the positive half wave of the source voltage Vs to allow conduction of the current. To ensure simultaneous firing, thyristor T1 and T2 use the same firing angle. Alternatively, thyristor T3 and T4 must be fired simultaneously during the negative half cycle. We are using that two half cycles. Okay, for positive half cycle T1, T2 will be conducted. For a negative half cycle T3 and T4 will be conducted. Hey, here a separate firing circuit has been used to fire the gate circuits through to the IGBT switches, the thyristor switches of of thyristor. Suppose we are using a gate here. If you observe here, the gate circuits are compulsory. Gate terminals are fired with the firing circuits by using of a separate device, sorry, separate circuit by gate firing circuit. That is, the T1 to T4 thyristor switches can be operate or turned on by using these gate firing circuits. Okay. Next, if you come across this, for the center tap transformer rectifier, T1 is forward biased when Vs is positive and T2 is forward biased when Vs is negative. Okay, by using of this type of, also we are getting the rated output voltage as the same as towards that of the bridge control rectifier. Okay, next one, what about the delay angle? The delay angle is the angle interval between the forward biasing of the SCR and the gate signal application. If the delay angle is 0, The rectifiers behaves exactly as uncontrolled rectifiers with diodes. Whenever the delay angle is to be, firing angle is to be at 0 condition, 0 degree value, the rectifiers behave exactly as uncontrolled rectifiers with the diodes. Okay, this is complete full wave bridge rectifier, and also another one is the midpoint one. Same, both are same. Next one, this is discussed actually, but if you observe the waveforms, output waveforms, single phase controlled full wave rectifier using a resistive load, using a resistive load. Okay, for a resistive load, how the output waveforms, both positive and also the negative half cycles are applying here. But what about the negative half cycle? It is not going towards the negative, but it should be converting towards the positive, coming towards the positive with respect to the thyristors of T3 and T4 values, sorry, switches. Okay, so with a positive half cycle of a T1, T2 will be turned on. For a negative half cycle, T3 and T4 will be turned on. Okay, here both each nothing but simultaneous switching on the thyristors of T1, T2 and T3, T4. The output waveform should be getting is to be V0 value across the load. Okay, this is the average output voltage across the load values. But it is a discontinuous one. Okay, here if you come across this one, current values, this is the gate currents IZ1, IZ2 are the gate signals which we are applying. Gate signals IZ1, IZ2 at a firing angle alpha, we are applying the signals. Next one IZ3, IZ4. Here it is alpha, applied alpha, but it should be applied for pi plus alpha. Okay, here it is the pi. Here it is the pi. We are having an alpha value also, so that it should be come across the pi plus alpha. Next 2 pi plus alpha. Next 3 pi plus alpha, like that. Okay, for each nothing but for every thyristor that it will be conduct of a nothing but here pair of thyristors T1 and T2 will be conducted at alpha firing angle. Next T3, T4 will be conducted at pi plus alpha value. Okay, but what about the current values across the thyristors and also the load values? Here, if you observe T1, T2 values, here thyristor 1 and thyristor 2, the current through the circuit, through the switch is to be here up to alpha it should be 0. Up to alpha it should be 0. At the angle of alpha value it is fired. So the thyristor will be turned on. That is a switch on. So the current will be moving. Current will be moving. In the negative half cycle, suppose in the negative half cycle thyristor T1 and T2 will be turned off. So we are not shown with a value magnitude, so that it should be 0 degree, 0 magnitude. Next up to 2 pi plus alpha, up to 2 pi plus alpha, that it should be 0 again. 2 pi plus alpha it will be conduct, that is T1 and T2 will be conduct. Next T3 and T4, if you come across this T3, T4, T4 will conduct at pi plus alpha. This is pi, and this is alpha, pi plus alpha. So pi plus alpha value T3 at T3 will be T4, T3, T4 will be conduct. Okay, sorry. T3, T4 will be conducted at pi plus alpha degree. Okay, next after it should be 3 pi plus alpha. Like that. And what about the current values? The current value is to be for both the positive and also the negative half cycles also. Okay, if it is a voltage, so it should be shown with a positive magnitude of the voltage, that is average value. But it should come across this RMS value of the current, it should be negative. For negative also we are conducting, so it should be shown like that. And if you come across this expressions for the average resistive load and average DC voltage, output voltage, and also the DC current, RMS value of current, if you observe, this is VDC is equal to V0, which is equals to 1 by pi integral alpha to pi value. Okay, and what about the Vs value? Vs is equal to V0 is Vm sin omega t. Then Vm sin omega t d of omega t, which is a source voltage. Then they integrating this one, Vm sin omega t of d of omega t, that is equal to Vm by pi of 1 plus integral sine minus cos. Then Vm by pi minus cos integral alpha to pi of 1 plus cos alpha. Next one, IDC is equal to VDC by R. That is, average DC current can be calculated that IDC is equal to VDC by R value. So that is Vm by pi of R of 1 plus cos alpha. Next one, if you come across this RMS value of the current value, voltage and also the currents, VRMS and also the IRMS values, that is root mean square value. VRMS is equal to square root of 1 by pi, okay, integral alpha to pi Vm sin omega t, okay, whole square d of omega t. And next one, by solving this one, we getting that 1 by 2 minus alpha by 2 pi plus sin 2 alpha by 4 pi. That is the VRMS and IRMS values. Okay, and this is the expressions for the voltage and also the currents in DC and also AC. Next, if you come across the problem, a full wave controlled voltage rectifier having the input of 120 volts RMS at a 60 hertz and a 20 ohms load resistor, the delay angle is 40 degrees. The delay angle is 40 degrees. Determine the average current in the load, the power absorbed by the load, and the source volt amperes. Next, if you come across this, VDC is equal to Vm by pi of 1 plus cos alpha, which is equals to, from this expression we are substituting here, Vm, we know that VRMS value, given that 120 volts VRMS value, that is the RMS voltage, but it should be maximum value. Okay, V maximum is equal to root 2 into VRMS value. So, V maximum can be substituted here, root 2 into 120 by pi value. Again, at firing angle of a delay angle is to be 140 degrees. So 1 plus cos 40 degrees, which is equals to 95.4 volts. That is the average DC output voltage. And after that, we determine that solve the IDC value also for this. Okay, using Ohm's law. IDC is equal to V by R, VDC by R. Next one, R value has been given as a 20 ohms load resistance. So by solving this, IDC is also getting the 4.77 amperes. Next, if you come across this IRMS and also the VRMS values, VRMS has been given directly 120 volts RMS value. Okay, 120 volts. So VRMS has given that 120 volts. Next, if you come across this IRMS value is equal to root 2 into VRMS by 20. These R V by R square root of 1 by 2 minus 0.698. If you come across this value 0.698 here, cos 40. So that is alpha plus by 2 pi plus sine of 2 alpha. Okay, so we are getting that for 4 pi. We are converting into radians also. Okay, not we are having given the degrees value, converting into radians. And next one, IRMS has been solved, that the current value is to be, this is from source side, supply side, 5.80 amperes. And next, what about the power value? P is equal to I square RMS value R into R value, which is equals to 5.80 whole square into 20. Power absorbed or power delivered towards the load circuit. Power delivered towards the load circuit, P is equal to I square RMS into R. And this is solved like that, 673 watts. Okay. Next, what about the apparent power? We have that RMS value of the voltage and also the RMS value of the current. What about the apparent voltage, apparent power? Apparent power S is equals to product of voltage VRMS into IRMS value. So S is equal to 120 into 5.80, which is equals to 696 volt amperes. Next one, power factor. Power factor is equal to P by S, which is equals to 672 by 696, that is equal to 0.967. Okay, so from the given question, we solved these all power factor and also the power absorbed by the load and also VRMS, IRMS values. If you come across by using, this is only resistive load. If you add any in series with the inductive load and also the energy, the source voltage in series, that is a general load. How the problem should be. Okay. Next, to come across this single phase full wave rectifier using RL load with a discontinuous current mode of operation. Okay. For a discontinuous current mode of operation, here the current should be getting towards the load circuit is to be in a discontinuous manner, not in a continuous manner. That is, load current for a controlled full wave rectifier with an RL load can be either continuous or discontinuous. It should be changes. Okay, for what about the discontinuous current? For discontinuous current at omega t is equal to 0 with a zero load current, SCRs T1 and T2 in the bridge rectifier will be forward biased and T3, T4 will be reverse biased as the source voltage becomes positive. Next one, second point is gate signals are applied to T1 and T2 at omega t is equal to alpha. Then turning T1 and T2 on, with the T1 and T2 on, the load voltage equals to the source voltage. The output expression should be changes, that is the output current. The output current across the load circuit, in series with the load. The output current in series with the load current should be I naught value. I naught of omega t is equal to Vm by Z of Y, because RL we are considering. So impedance value of the circuit, load circuit can be considered. So Z is the impedance, load impedance. Vm by Z of sine of omega t minus theta minus sine of alpha minus theta. In previous we derived these expressions also. In the previous videos, PPTs, we also derived these expressions of discontinuous current mode of operation, also continuous current mode of operations. Here, by whenever adding in series with the inductive load, then we're getting that two types of currents. With respect to, suppose, two types of currents, here, what should be happen? Two types of currents. The two types of current, if you consider, that is transient current and also the steady state current. That is, first one is the steady state value and second one is the transient. Why? Because the inductor always stores energy and it will be given feedback towards the source also. Why? Because whenever thyristor switches are turned on and then it should be turned off, simultaneous or sequence of operation of the switches are happening. Therefore, when you use any freewheeling diode across the load circuit, suppose I am not shown with the freewheeling diode here. If you add any freewheeling diode across the source, across the load circuit, say, so whenever the thyristor T1 and T2 are turned on after completing the operation or moving the current into the circuit, T1, T2 will be turned off. So what should be happen for a half wave circuit, suppose? Therefore, the amount of energy stored in the inductor is fed back towards the resistive load by using a freewheeling diode. That is the purpose of the freewheeling diode. So now here, by adding an inductance value in series with the resistance, so what should happen means transient nature of the current is also occurs. So that is the equation for the output current of steady state value and also the transient values. Sine of omega t minus theta minus sine of alpha minus theta into e power minus of omega t minus alpha by omega tau value. Tau is the L by R value. Tau is the time constant, that is L by R. Next, if you observe the output waveforms, how the output waveforms for a discontinuous current mode of operation. Here, this is the I naught value, output current I naught value, and is the output voltage across the load. Okay, here come across this point. This is fired at alpha value. Suppose this is the alpha firing angle. Okay, this is the alpha firing angle. T1, T2 will be turned on up to pi value. And it should be coming towards the negative peak side. Why? Because due to the inductor present in the load circuit, the negative peaks will be coming across the output waveform. So again, it should be pi. Okay, again it should be pi. Pi plus alpha, it should be turned on. So pi plus alpha, T1 and T3, T4. Here T1, T2 will be turned on. Okay, here if you come across this. Okay, this is the T1 and T2, and next one it is the T3, T4. Here T3, T4 will be switching on, nothing but getting turned on, and the output voltage is to be giving towards the load circuit. Okay, and what about the current value? Here if you observe here, the current value, whenever inductor is having the energy that is giving feedback towards the source, or even for the source, or it will be fed back towards the load also. Here, whenever it giving feedback means there is a negative peak up to some value. Okay, up to some value, this point. After that, what should be happen? It should be coming towards a zero magnitude. Here also, the voltage is all current is also whenever thyristor T1, T3, and T4 are turned off up to this point. After that, what should be happen at alpha value T1 and T2? Here at this angle, alpha value thyristor T1 and T2 are turned on. Okay, turn on. And what should be happen? The output voltage is to be here. The output current is to be, it gradually increases, and up to this is the this is the maximum point. Actual dot not shown with output waveform like this here. This is the maximum up to beta. Okay, this is the maximum. It should be whenever the voltage is to be maximum means. I will show again here. Yeah, like this. Okay, the actually shown like this. Okay, the output voltage whenever it should be having a magnitude maximum value, means the current should be gradually increasing, gradually increasing. This will be this will be going on within a fraction of seconds only. This will happen. The output waveform should be gradually increase, and it should be getting maximum value whenever the voltage is to be getting zero, dropping towards the pi value. Whenever the magnitude of the voltage is decreasing, the current value is increasing. So up to beta value, not up to pi value, but it should be up to beta value. Up to this is the beta value, conduction angle. Then it should be coming towards the again zero. That's why this is called as a discontinuous current mode of operation. Nothing but the current operation. The operation is to be discontinuous manner, not in a continuous manner. If it is continuous manner means the current should be like this. The current should be not coming towards a zero, not coming towards a zero. This is a continuous. Next slide we will go to discuss about this continuous current mode of operation. Next, if you come across this, the above current function becomes zero at omega t is equal to beta value if the current remains at zero until omega t is equal to pi plus alpha. At up to pi plus alpha, it should be zero only. When gate signals are applied to 2, 3, T4s, which are then forward biased and begin to conduct, this mode of operation is called the discontinuous mode, current mode of operation. Okay, and discontinuous current beta less than pi plus alpha. Beta value has been less than pi plus alpha at an time period angle of. Here, analysis of the controlled full wave rectifier operating in the discontinuous current mode is identical to that of the controlled half wave rectifier, which is having the nothing but same. What about the half wave rectifier? We are having that the same expressions and also the same waveforms we are also getting in the single phase full wave rectifier using the discontinuous current mode of operation. So the period for the output current is pi rather than 2 pi radian seconds. Okay, period we consider up to 2 pi by because it is full wave. Okay, next one. What about the expressions for this RL load? That is VDC is equal to 1 by pi Vm integral alpha to beta. We consider up to alpha to beta. If you observe here, up to beta value. Okay, so alpha to beta we will consider. Then next Vm sin omega t d of omega t. Then we are getting that Vm by pi of cos alpha minus cos beta. And we are getting the IDC also, Vm by pi r of cos alpha minus cos beta, and VRMS value. These are all the values we derived in the previous sessions. Next, go to the problem. If you consider a controlled full wave rectifier of having the source voltage of 120 volts RMS at 60 Hz supply, R is equal to 10 ohms, inductance L is equal to 20 millihenries, and firing angle alpha is equal to 60 degrees. Determine an expression for load current. You have to derive the expression for the load current, that is I of omega t, I naught of omega t is equal to, for steady state and also the transient current, you have to solve the expression problem. Then the average load current and hence the power absorbed by the load value have to discuss. That is 120 volts RMS has been given, frequency has given that 60 hertz, and resistance has given inductance, firing angle. Then come across this I of omega t. I naught of omega t is the output current for both the steady state and also the transient currents. And then we solve for this both the values, both the values of steady state and also the transient currents. Before going to the transient current, then we have to solve the time constant, all the values, impedance value. Why? Because Vm by Z we have that. So impedance I have to calculate. Vm has been given, Z has been given, and you have to solve that load impedance value, R square and omega L whole square. Then we are getting the 12.5 ohms is the impedance value. Then next one, theta is the tan inverse of omega L by R, which is equals to tan inverse of, okay, we are getting that omega 377. Okay, that is the general expression. 377 omega is 2 pi f, 2 pi into frequency 60. So that's why you're getting the 377. And next into L we know that 0.02, 20 milli. 20 milli is equal to 0.02 by 10 value is the resistance R. Then we solve the theta value. Okay, theta value in radians. Then we have to solve for time constant tau is also. Then next one. I output current I naught of omega t is equal to 13.6 sin of omega t minus theta value. Okay, and minus 21.2 e power minus omega t by 0.754 amperes. For alpha less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to beta value, by solving I naught of beta is equal to 0, we are getting that beta value, okay, in radians. Next, then we solving that IDC value, the average current IDC value. Then we are getting 77.07 amperes, and I naught value. Okay, then I naught value is to be this much value. This is a combination of steady state and also transient currents, so that we are getting like this. And next one, IRMS value. IRMS value have been solved. We are getting the 8.8 amperes. And power absorbed, power P is equal to IRMS square R value. So that we are getting 774.4 watts. Here, these are the values for next one. Next one, if we come across this single phase controlled full wave rectifier using RL load with a continuous current mode of operation. This is the important one for continuous current mode of operation. Nothing but some more applications will require discontinuous current mode of operation. Some more applications require in industries. Most of the loads should be continuous current mode of operation, but some more applications require a discontinuous mode, that it should be rotating in a forward direction, also the backward direction of the motors. If you come across the induction motors are rotating, no, DC motors are rotating either in forward direction and also the reverse direction, clockwise and also the anti-clockwise directions, depend upon the application of the loads. So that's why we are using this type of applications. And next, to come across this continuous current mode of operation, RL load using continuous current mode of operation. Here, if the load current is still positive at omega t is equal to pi plus alpha. Here, but before that, if pi plus alpha in previous at beta value, it should be dropping at the output current is dropped towards a zero magnitude. So zero value. So, but it should be not coming towards a zero, up to towards the conduction angle. Here, up to alpha is also conducting with a magnitude. After that, alpha to pi value and up to pi plus alpha. It is in a continuous current. This is nothing but a continuous current mode of operation. The current value is not coming towards a 0 degree, zero magnitude of the ampere. So this is nothing but the continuous current mode of operations. Okay, and what about the output voltage? Output voltage, if you come across here, up to alpha it should be fired. Up to, sorry, up to alpha, here the negative peak of the voltage value has been shown with the continuous current mode of operation. Okay, nothing but T3 T4 will be turn on in this period. In this period T3 T4 will be turn on, but in previous it will be coming towards the zero with some magnitude, but having the negative magnitude. Okay, having the negative magnitude of T3 T4 will be turned on this time period up to alpha, and after that alpha value T1 T2 up to pi, again pi to pi plus alpha, it should be T1 T2. This is the continuous, this is the time period of T1 and T2 values, turn on time period of the T1 T2 values. After that it should be T3 T4. Okay, like that. Here load current is still positive at omega t is equal to pi plus alpha when gate signals are applied to T3 T4 in the above analysis. T3 T4 are turned on and T1 T2 are forced off. You have to off by using a forced commutation. Why? Because it is not coming towards the T1 T2 to turn off naturally. Why? Because, sir, if you have any doubt also, sir, actually the sinusoidal voltage is coming towards the zero at pi value, but not coming towards turn off of T1 T2. Why we require T1 T2 to forcibly turn off means due to the inductance present in the load circuit, whatever the amount of energy stored in the inductor is fed back towards the source up to the time period T1 and T2 are turn on position only. So based upon this condition, we require forced commutation. By forcibly turn off these T1 T2 thyristors, then T1 T2 will be not conduct furtherly. Okay, next one, the initial condition for current in the second half cycle is not zero here. Okay, next one, in continuous current, the omega t is equal to pi plus alpha, the current at omega t is equal to pi plus alpha must be greater than zero for continuous current operation. But in previous it should be not uh, beta less than pi plus alpha, but here now it should be pi plus alpha greater than zero. Then by using these conditions, we have derived the expression for the DC average DC voltage and also the current values also here. And this is nothing but the single phase controlled full wave rectifier with a highly inductive load. Nothing but inductance. Well, inductance value has been more than the resistive load. Okay, then how the current waveform should be? How the current waveform and how the output voltage can be occurring. Here, if you observe here, the behavior of the fully controlled rectifier with resistive inductive load with a highly inductive load, the highly inductive load generates a perfectly filtered current and the rectifier behaves like a current source. Okay, with continuous load current. This comes under continuous current mode of operation. With using of a high inductive load more than the resistance value, L greater than inductance resistance value, this behavior comes under this continuous current mode of operation. So showing this with continuous current mode of operation. If you observe here, the current should be, if you observe here, the current is to be like a DC current with a straight line. This is called a constant magnitude of current. Why we are getting constant magnitude of current means with respect to that inductance value present in the load circuit, the current should be getting like this. Okay, but in previous there is some ripple. This within the circuit there is ripple also, but by using of the inductance value, more value, the ripples is also eliminated somewhat. Okay, not pure, but it should be reduced with somewhat. So that is by increasing the inductance value, the what will be changed means within the continuous current mode of operation, the current output will be changed with a constant magnitude. But there is some disadvantage to be the firing of thyristors T3 and T4 has two effects. They turn off thyristor T1 and T2. After the commutation, they conduct the load current. This is the conditions. Next, these are the expressions for derivations for the highly inductive load by using a single phase fully controlled rectifier of VDC is equal to Vm by pi cos alpha, and also the Vrms is equal to Vm by root 2 we are getting. IRMS is directly IA value. By if you observe, this is the problem for the RL load, but L is having more than value 100 milliamperes. Okay, inductance value is to be more. And this is the circuit for single phase bridge half control rectifier with a freewheeling diode. I am not discussed in previous, that is a freewheeling diode. This is the freewheeling diode. By using a freewheeling diode, how the expression should be changed. But it is a single phase bridge half control rectifier. Half control rectifier. What should be happen with here we are using RLE load. RLE, so not E, RL load. By using of RL load, what should be happen? Whenever thyristor T1, T2 will be turned on. Sorry, not T1, T2. T1, T2 and D4. Sorry, T1, T2 and D1, D2 actually. If you consider T1 and this diode will be conductor for positive half cycle. T1 and D4, VD4 here shown. Therefore, what should be, this is the circuit forming. After that, whenever the interchanging of the whenever the negative half cycle come across the circuit towards the source side, T2 and VD3 will be conducted. Okay. Before that, what should be happen at this time period? The T1 D4 will be turned on at alpha value, at alpha firing angle. So the magnitude of the output voltage come across here. Here, what should be happen means, with respect to using of a freewheeling diode here, whenever the switches are turned off, at this time period, the freewheeling diode will be conducted. Why? Because the inductors will be acts as a source. The inductor will act as a source. So with respect to the source, the freewheeling diode will be conducted and it will be supplied towards the source side. Okay. Actually, not towards the source. It should be only within the circuit only, freewheeling diode circuit only. The current will be moving towards within the freewheeling diodes, freewheeling circuit only. Okay. Whenever the thyristor switches are turned off, so the inductance will be behaves as a source. Inductor will behave as a source. The amount of stored energy in the form of magnetic field is given fed back towards the resistor load using the freewheeling diode. And these are the expressions for the average output voltage, that is Vm by pi of 1 plus cos alpha. For this is the expression for same as that of the single phase half control rectifier, and also the VRMS value and IRMS value. And these are the output waveforms for the VDC and also the output voltage and also the output currents. With here we are choosing with a high inductance value, so that's why the output current has shown with a constant line, constant waveform. Average the inductance value, inductor value has to be in high value with respect to the resistors. So the output current should be shown with like this. And these are the switching pulses given towards the switches. Thyristor 1, VD diode 4, thyristor 2 and diode 3. Pi plus alpha and alpha, pi plus, not pi plus alpha also, 2 pi plus alpha it should be. Okay, for T1, D4 and T2, D3 it should be pi plus alpha and 3 pi plus alpha. And when will we conduct the freewheeling diode? The freewheeling diode is also having the conduction period. So that is this is the 0 degree to alpha value. This is the pulse, the magnitude of the current. Okay. After that should be again nothing but in between the switching circuits, the freewheeling diodes will also conduct. And this is the complete of single phase half control rectifier and full wave control. This is complete single phase control rectifier circuits. And also some more problems I will discuss in the next class. We are also having some more problems on general load also. I have not shown with the general load. Okay. If you have any doubts, mail me or send to the WhatsApp. Okay. Thank you.